Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episode 41, Operation Dub Pikachu and half a Marshtomp. This was the 1126th episode of the Pokemon anime, and it was another one of those 2-for-1 specials because that worked out so well the last time, right? I guess I should say straight off the bat that I was not a fan of this episode. I gave the previous 2-for-1 special a 4 out of 10 rating, and, well, you'll see what I decided to rate this one in a little bit. One of Pokemon Journey's biggest weaknesses is its lack of continuity from episode to episode, and how sometimes events can just seemingly happen at random, well, all the time actually. That can be alright, especially with Ash and Go traveling all over the world, but episodes like this one really push that concept to the limit. Let's run through the highlights, if you can even call them that, and then we'll get into the review. Part 1 of this episode was Operation Dub Pikachu. When I heard the name of this part, I didn't know what to expect. We didn't get a ton of explanation in the episode itself either, as we jumped straight into a scene in Team Rocket's hideout. And really, this whole part was just one long scene in their secret base. Anyways, Meowth is sick, and I guess if I have to look for positives in this episode, and believe me, I really do have to try hard to be positive about this week, then it was kind of cool to see Jessie and James' natural personalities as they try to care for their best friend. We see Team Rocket far less often nowadays, and it's always refreshing when we see them doing stuff other than just getting blasted off all the time. Wobbuffet takes out a drone, and apparently he had been recording Pikachu for some time, and has a lot of footage of him. A little strange, but okay, let's go with it. They decide to study this footage in order to better understand Pikachu, and Jessie comes up with the big brain idea of dubbing over Pikachu because somehow that will help them understand Pikachu's speech, instead of having Meowth have to translate for them all the time. Meowth, by the way, just wants them to shut up so he can get some sleep. They each take turns dubbing over Pikachu, and seriously, this is just as exciting as it sounds, believe me. If I could psychoanalyze this for a little bit, it was kind of interesting to see that Jessie's dub of Pikachu made him seem like an arrogant Pokemon who thought he was better than everyone else, while James's dub made Pikachu seem like a hardworking Pokemon that tries its best for Ash. I'm guessing they had their own takes on what Pikachu is saying based off how they each feel about Pokemon personally. Jessie has always been a little bit off base with her understanding of Pokemon's emotions, whereas this is one of James's strong suits, and he always tends to believe that Pokemon and humans care for each other deeply, and that's why his dub of Pikachu was probably the more accurate of the two. Anyways, I've already spent way too much time talking about this. The last shot of Pikachu is one of him after Team Rocket has blasted off again, and they're trying to figure out what he's saying after he sends them blasting off. And while Jessie and James are guessing, Meowth is in the background saying that he couldn't possibly tell them what Pikachu is actually saying, with tears running down his eyes. So Meowth is still able to understand Pikachu, but we never actually find out what it was that Pikachu was saying. Great. The scene jumps ahead a few hours, and Meowth isn't sick anymore, and for some reason they've called for the Rocket Prize Master. Instead of Pokemon, they get the titles for this episode's 2-for-1 special, and Meowth's reaction pretty much sums it up for me. They continue to break the fourth wall when they realize that half of the episode is called Operation Dub Pikachu, and they can't believe that their whole dubbing thing was the first part. Yeah, I feel the same way, Team Rocket. I can't believe that was half the episode either. We finally get the title cards, and honestly, I spent the majority of that first part just waiting for the opening theme to kick in, and it never did. However, we did finally get it in the middle here, and to be honest, this was my favorite part of the entire episode. That's probably not a good sign for the second part. Ash, Go, and their main Pokemon are all out exploring, and they find a Marshtomp who is almost fully buried in the ground. They can't seem to break it out, and there are some concerned looking Marshtomp friends looking at it. They decide to try and use water to free it, but Sobble gets performance anxiety and disappears instead of using Water Gun. They fail at their attempts to carry water maybe, 50 yards away? And seriously, what the heck am I even reviewing here? I know not every episode can be an epic raid battle against Zapdos, but what a drop off from last week. A Ludicolo comes along, and it's probably not a coincidence that they paired up a Ludicolo with a group of Marshtomp in this episode, since they're two of Brock's Pokemon from Hoenn. They try and get Ludicolo to use Rain Dance, and after some initial miscommunication, the rain finally comes, freeing Marshtomp. All the Pokemon celebrate, and Ash and Go leave for the day. The episode ends when they come back the next day, and now the whole group of Marshtomp are stuck in the ground. Hilarious! Okay, not really, but at least this episode is finally over. I'm giving this episode a 2 out of 10 rating. I always try to be as positive as I can be about the Pokemon anime, and I never want to be the guy who just complains about everything. But this episode really just did not do it for me. Like I said before, I know not every episode is going to be as exciting as battling against Zapdos or Ash battling in the World Coronation series, but that doesn't excuse this episode from being objectively bad. I gave the previous 2-for-1 special a 4 out of 10, and I didn't think it could get worse than that. Well, at least that episode played into the ridiculousness, and we got to see over-the-top, hilarious scenes and visuals. This time around, I just thought both parts of the episode were boring. What was the point of Jesse and James dubbing over Pikachu, especially if Meowth didn't even tell us what Pikachu was actually saying? Did anyone actually like the story with Marshtomp and the Ludicolo? Ludicolo being awkward wasn't exactly endearing or funny to me, it was just awkward. Look, I know not everyone will have the same opinions or tastes as me, but I'm not sure what the anime is trying to do with having these 2-for-1 specials. I get that they're trying out new concepts and ideas in Pokémon Journeys, and while some of them hit, others are clear misses. I hope they learn their lesson that these kinds of episodes are these clear misses and we steer away from them in the future. Like I said, I really want to be positive about the anime. It's way more fun making these videos in a positive manner instead of a negative one, but I can't help but be overly critical of episodes like this. As always, let me know what you guys think about this episode in the comments. It pretty easily takes my top spot as my least favorite episode for Pokemon Journeys, but let me know how you felt about it in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe while you're at it too, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so this episode may not have done anything for me, but that's all about to change next week with the start of the Darkest Day story arc. I've talked numerous times on this channel before about how I think this story is coming too soon in Pokemon Journeys, but now that it's here, I can't help but get excited about it. The first part of this story arc looks like it will focus on Ash and Go heading to Galar to investigate the Dynamaxing Pokemon outbreak, and we'll get to see Rose carry out his side of the Darkest Day plan, just like in the games. Oh yeah, and Ash and Go are going to find Zacian and Zamazenta in the Slumbering Weald, and this is just part 1. Let me hear your guys' predictions for the Darkest Day storyline in the comments. When are we going to see Riolu and Rapidu evolve? What is Leon and Sonia's involvement going to be in all of this? And will those Marshtomp ever get out from the ground? Okay, maybe not that part. Anyways, thanks as always for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.